Hey, what's up, guys? This is Brian from Whisper Status 74. You're looking at the Vizio Quantum XP series at 75 inches playing Black Ops 2. This is on the Xbox One X, but it's not an Xbox One X enhanced title. So basically, you're looking at a 720p upscale to 4K. Now, the Achilles heel is for the Vizio upscaling. And why is that important? It's primarily 720p cable boxes, 1080i that we're concerned about, where the Vizio Quantum XP series struggles. Now, I'm going to be comparing this through a splitter with the Sony 900E, which is to the right of this display, to see how they look. And the idea is they should look pretty close to each other, more than one looking better than the other. Considering this is an upscale and doesn't look great on either display, it looks very similar to the Sony. All sharpening has been off. The sharpness on both displays is very far down, down to 0 on both, I believe. So there is no sharpening. There's no dynamic contrast. They are down to their standard game modes. Now, if anything the Vizio does do is, because it's such a clean look, it can create noise in the images. I've noticed that in gaming, sometimes it's too clean, which you can modify in the settings. We're going to try and get some cable down here. I'm also going to do some standard definition DVDs as well, because some of you guys are concerned about that. For me, it's not a concern. I don't use regular DVDs down here or cable. So for me, the Vizio works perfectly, as its movie performance, its game performance, its streaming performance is phenomenal, especially with Dolby Vision, HDR10 Plus. For the money, it does hang in there with the best. But upscaling is something that troubles many, as they use their cable box often. So we're going to go back and forth between the two displays. So here we are, Black Ops 2. Like I said, this game does not look great on either. We're going to find a sign with some text. We'll go back and forth between the two. This is just a random sign. The text is pretty clear. Some jaggies on it, but it's pretty clear. This is the Sony 900E, again in game mode. What we want to be looking at is the aliasing, which is, right in the corners here on the gun. Now, to me, they look very similar. We're going to switch back again. Vizio. Edges. Now there's aliasing around the sign, there's aliasing around the gun, but I would say it's about the same. Neither looks very good, but one doesn't look much better than the other. Now you see these power lines out here where I'm shooting. All the jaggies that are there, they're there on both. There isn't a magic processor that erases all of this. Now upscaling is very important, but I think it's a little bit overly exaggerated as this magic thing that's going to clean up every, poor signal and every ugly image. So we're going to come on over to like this statue right here. Zoom in. Oh, just took his face off. All right, let's not do that. Let's find something else. We'll look over at the statue and this truck. Vizio Quantum XP series. Switching now. Sony 900E. Now, me looking at them side to side, the amount of artifacting is very similar. I'd say it's probably a little bit more noisy on the Quantum XP series, but not enough for me to really handicap it and say it's not something that you want to purchase. We'll look at the flames here. Sony 900E. Quantum XP series. Not really losing any detail. And let's switch it up to another map. This is the remaster of Summit from Black Ops 1. It's amazing how many maps Black Ops and the other games used to have. Looks very good. Get a little closer to the building so we can see. See if we can find something to focus on that's a little bit more solid. I think where we were, ooh, that was nice. I think where we were was actually fine right in the beginning of the map, right here. Okay, Vizio Quantum XP series. Sony 900E. Now, what we're not looking for is the picture quality, the color, or anything like that. They're both in their standard game mode. We're just looking for its lines, its the cleanliness of it. I can make the Vizio pop out of the screen, but we're just looking, the more I do that, the more noise you'll see. We're just trying to get things to look like for like in their base game mode. But I don't see the Vizio struggling with the upscaling to the degree that was reported. I do think the Sony looks better in a softer kind of way, but not enough for me to say, don't buy the Vizio because the upscaling is so terrible. At least in terms of games. We're going to go back to the Vizio. Vizio P series, Quantum X. Now, I know the Vizio might look a little bit washed out, but this isn't for that purpose. We're going to do a juiced up version of it with HDR versus the Quantum X or the Sony when they're both at their most powerful. This is in their standard game mode. I don't see any more aliasing on this gun than I do on the one on the Sony. I know this isn't the optimal way to do it, guys, but this is as close as I can get for having them like for like. For you, for the pauses, it'll be instantaneous. You'll look out into that statue, into those trees. Okay, this is the Vizio Quantum XP series. We'll try to get it in the same position. Statue. Sony 900E. Statue. Now, the 900E looks deeper. Now, keep in mind that the Vizio is triple its peak brightness. Or nearly triple, or double. I'm talking about. Yeah, a little more than double. That's why it looks deeper right now. But as far as the upscaling goes, that's what this video is about. Not which one really looks better in terms of its color. It's more about the upscaling. I can make the Vizio look however I want. It's just, what's the upscaling look like? Modern Warfare 2. Multiplayer, private match again. Looking at the plane, the surrounding foliage out here. This is being filmed 4K 60. It's going to come out 4K 30. All right, we'll switch over to the Sony. Sony 900E. I'm trying to match again color for color, try to make it look as similar as I can. because the purpose, again, is to focus on upscaling. You know, we look at these trees right here and how fuzzy they are. Go back and look at them here. We're going to go back to the Vizio. We'll stay zoomed in. Now look at the gun itself, the iron sights. Vizio. Switch to another map. Classic map. Wow, the maps were so good back in the day. Modern Warfare 2, this is the Brazil map. And we should have been in Sniper the whole time. It's a pretty simple looking statue, looking back on it. But again, very noisy image. You know, look at the foliage right here. Obviously, look at the statue. And we'll switch back to the Sony. Now, admittedly, they're both pretty messy images. That's kind of the point. At least for me, is how much of this upscaling are you going to do other than just cable TV? And is it an exact like for what you'll see on cable TV? It's not. But it gives you a little bit of idea of what the Vizio can do with 720p. So in closing, does this answer all the upscaling questions that we have with the Vizio? It does not. This is the Xbox One X that's doing some upscaling on its own. I am aware of that. We still are putting standard definition content on both displays. We are still doing Xbox 360 720p upscales, which do not look great on the Sony, but they don't look much worse or worse at all on the Vizio. There's a little bit more noise on the Vizio, but the Vizio is so much more bright and is making things look cleaner, which on lower quality content can make things look more noisy in terms of its blocking noise and its edging and all the aliasing that we see in those kinds of images. But it didn't look much worse that I couldn't attribute to how bright it is in comparison to the Sony 900E. Now, arguably, the newer Sonys have better upscaling. This is a 2019 versus a 2017. But you really have to ask yourself, how much standard definition content are you watching? We primarily stream, we watch movies, we play video games. If you watch sports, that's going to be 720p. We're going to get a cable box down here and show you some of that. But for this test between these films and these games, the Vizio hung in there, and I don't think it's any reason not to purchase it because of the horrid upscaling that I hear so much about. I'm Brian at WhisperStatus74. You will see many more Vizio Quantum XP series. Just keep in mind the content on the channel is always going to be variable. I cover whatever comes up. Movies, we have many things that I want to cover. It won't ever just be a certain display. Whether it's the Vizio, the Sony, I'll cover everything. I hope everybody is doing well. I will talk to you soon. I will see you in the comments. Take care.